Welcome. You're listening to the Rotten River Pursuits podcast. Join our epic pro staff around the Sonic Campfire for stories and adventures from our eastern mountains to the Chesapeake Salt. Let our highs and lows inspire you to take to the outdoors.
Hey guys, you're listening to the Rotten River Pursuits podcast. We have an epic show for you tonight, a guest from down south. Before we get into that, who's around the table with me?
I'm Steve.
I'm Will.
I'm Carp. Oh, wait.
Hey, Carp.
And it's stuck from a few weeks ago.
Called himself Carp.
Can't let it go.
Now it's a thing.
Yep, Carp's been gone for a while. Man, what have you been up to?
I've been hiding. And now that I'm back, I don't honestly know if I should say thank you to specifically Catfish, but all of you guys, or if I should really be mad. Because
Do tell.
What happened?
What's going on, bud?
am officially obsessed with kayak fishing. I cannot.
Addict. You addict.
I cannot get enough of it. I went out over Memorial Day. We just got back from our trip to Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
I think my kids went along. I didn't see them much. The only time I saw my kids was when we were surf fishing.
Good for you.
You know, I'm like, oh, look, I got some squid over here, guys. So we cut up some bait, and we did great surf fishing, red drums, and flounder all over the place out there. And then, like, they wanted to do beach stuff. And I was like, I'm in the kayak in the bay. See you later.
I'm out.
I searched high and low for like the best way to do this, and actually the first day that we hit the bay, Brad from Spanavoy came with me.
Yeah.
Like whitecaps.
Oh,
It
nice.
was rough.
Yeah.
You get into some of the little inlets or the coves, you know, it gets nice because you get behind the tall grass. You can fish it, it's fine. But when we got into open water,
Rock and
there
roll.
was no dropping anchor and fishing because it was.
It was like that all
was
week?
rough. No, because 2 days later I went to the exact same spot and it was like glass.
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the afternoon, I pull through the tall grass little like chute that I have to paddle through. I come through that, and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I can just see like 2 miles across this open bay, flat as glass. I can see fish rising, like hitting top water, little
amazing.
bombs going off. Just I'm like, whopper plopper. Here we go. And
There it is.
and it turned on because the thing is with that back bay in the northern part of the back bay in Virginia, there's no current. There's no tide, rather.
Yeah.
It's all wind driven.
Did you hear?
So the wind lays down for a day. It's glass.
It's
Oh,
done.
that's awesome. Did you hear Ken? I've been saying whopper plopper.
I don't even know what it means. And then you guys tried to tell him it wasn't even a real thing.
I was like, that dude,
poor
that's not
kid.
even a real thing, man. We just make this stuff up as we go.
I wouldn't have believed you either, but now I'm addicted.
It is.
This
It's
stuff
very
is amazing.
addicting. Yep.
I was throwing, the 4-inch Kytex on a little jig head. I'm doing all the stuff that I hear you guys talking about, and I'm catching fish.
It works.
Yeah.
How heavy a line were you using?
I don't know, whatever was spooled on it when I bought it.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause, I mean, I imagine it's 10 or 12 pounds.
Phil
Yeah.
uses 4 pounds.
Yeah,
The heartbreaker.
I don't
The
use
Heartbreaker line.
I don't use Berkeley Heartbreaker.
Berkeley Heartbreaker.
You're not doing it the Buckman way.
No, but it's been nonstop fun. I'm wrapping everything up like the whole 10 days away in like 5 minutes here, but even last night, I'm home from the beach and back into the daily grind. We're going to work every day, and
Letting the cat in.
we did finally get around to finding the cat. It was
that's
fine.
good.
Wow.
The cat story
That's
good. It's
We were worried.
day. You shouldn't have been. Just let it go. It's a cat, man. It'll survive.
I mean, I'm fully prepared to,
Well, you said you were going to
Buy
put
him
up
a
a
new,
ground
buy
blind
him a
and
new
sit out there.
cat. I'll just buy you a new cat. Or have Lacey go find you one.
I wanted one less cat, not one more cat.
We tried hard. It didn't happen.
I didn't know what to do. I was completely.
I don't see that look on Will's face very often.
Uh,
It's like, man, the cat got out. What do we do?
yeah, and Jimmy was, put up as much or more of a fight than I did.
And
I
it
mean,
didn't just run out. I was standing there. It was like the cartoon, like the Roadrunner. Like it was there, and it was just like a streak. Boom, and it was gone. So anyhow, the cat came back. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm surprised though because Jim knows, like that cat goes out. Jim knows that.
I don't think he remembered from what I heard.
I guess not.
Yeah.
He camped out till 2 a.m.
Well, now
he has some kind of like everyday amnesia.
Maybe he just wanted to hang out with you for a couple hours.
That's true. My cat coming back and being out at night, that's like pop culture type reference for Jim. So he just blocks it out.
Jim, how's this TV turn on? I don't know.
You wait 5 years
Jim,
from now.
is this an outside cat? I don't know.
I mean, it's going to be a $5 Jim question 5 years from now. You wait.
Is Ryan's cat allowed outside?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, and he's like the greatest IT genius I've ever met.
Yeah.
And he can't turn on my projector TV.
No,
Really?
couldn't at all. He's like, I couldn't.
I feel terrible for you. No pens were playing that night.
That's exactly why I wanted to
I
know.
couldn't even find a light switch to turn the light on in that room. All I saw was guns laying everywhere. I'm like, looking for a light switch and getting sidetracked. I'm like, ooh, look at this. So you got home last night.
But anyway, yeah, I had to run my son to like some kind of open gym soccer thing that the school's running over the summer.
Yeah.
And I get home. Turns out my daughter's left with grandma, and they went away. I looked at my wife, and I'm like, well, what's going on tonight? What do we have planned? She's like, nothing. I thought we'd just relax. I'm like, all right, see you later. I got
See ya.
the kayak loaded up already. I'm going a little late.
I'm relaxing.
Peace, I'm out.
I actually ran down to Pincho, and I mean, I just getting in the water. I'm throwing the Kitex again. I got 2 rods that I'm running at the same time. One's a new rod because I actually broke one when I was down in Virginia.
Nice.
But wasn't actually that one turned out to not be nice.
Yeah.
You know how they say the whopper plopper always comes back to you?
It doesn't?
Sometimes you have to earn it
Do you?
to get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had to earn a few. What happened?
Well, first cast toward the only structure. Now we hooked up with the guy that runs the local bait and tackle shop down there, and I was asking him all about fishing in the bay. Of course, after his 10-minute warning about this is the home of the cottonmouth, so we got all kinds of snake background on the back bay. We did see 3 snakes that day. We didn't get close enough to tell for sure what they were. I wasn't interested in getting any closer.
No.
They said they're actually pretty aggressive. But anyway, he was telling us the only real structure that's in that bay is the old duck blinds that the equivalent of their DCNR hasn't cut down.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. So this back bay is a state wildlife refuge, and the only structure that's really out there are these old duck blinds. So of course I'm paddling around in this really choppy water with Brad, and all of a sudden I see that's a duck blind. Mm-hmm. I'm heading for it.
Yep.
Right? And it's in some of the calmer water. Head over to it, and I anchor up about 30 yards off of it, getting my rods and everything ready. Got the whopper plopper on. It's my favorite one. It's the one that looks like a little fry, right? So it's a little bass-colored whopper plopper.
Yep.
And I launch it up there because I just want to land right in front.
Ziz.
Not 2 foot over top of it. So now I'm hooked on
The duck blind.
the duck blind.
Where all the cottonmouths live.
Well, and I'm staring at it going, I haven't seen a snake yet, but if there was going to be a snake,
That's where
it's going to be inside that old duck blind. Like, I've seen some of those TV shows where guys are like, oh, I'm sitting in my duck blind, all of a sudden there's a snake.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I could think of. Mm-hmm. I actually had to paddle over, stand on top of the Moken,
Yeah.
while hoping not to get bit by a cottonmouth to try to get this thing back. Mm-hmm. All the while, when I first launched it up over the top, you know how sometimes if you go over a limb, you wind in nice and slow till you just feel a little bit of tension, and then you pop it.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, apparently I'm going to call it a POS rod because I don't know what make and model it was, but it was clearly a POS. I get a little bit of pull, a little bit of tension on line. I go to pop it. That friggin' rod snapped in 3 places.
What?
I don't know what happened. I mean, I'm a monster. I know. You guys have seen my Instagram
Absolutely.
pictures. You can see my arms are. I'm
Like
stacked.
17 pull-ups.
Yeah.
No thanks to you, Dad.
But this thing just blows
Snapped
apart.
it in 3 places all at once.
And the thing didn't even come out.
No. All that did was set the hook deeper.
What a POS rod.
There was old, somebody had built old, like, gun racks in there where you just lay the shotgun up, and there was like a little V cut out of this 2x4, and it was sunk right into the
There's
deepest
no
part
way
of the
you'd do that again if you tried in a lifetime.
I couldn't have, from standing on top of the kayak, leaning over the snake-infested duck blind. I couldn't have stuck it more perfectly into the V. But yeah. So anyway, long story short here, or story short, as it were, got the Whopper Plopper back and got a new rod the next day, and then I got back at it.
Gotcha. You got some bass though in the back bay.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
It was good stuff. There was actually the one that got away is the one I want to tell you about.
Yeah.
Because there was old cypress trees, like the rotted logs, like stuff you picture in your mind when you're fishing, like the bayou type areas, these back bays, these little draws, and it was the perfect tree sitting out on this little point. And I'm like, there's got to be a lunker hanging out the bottom of this thing.
He's there.
So I got my Whopper Plopper on, and I cast across, and that thing hits the water. And just as it hits the water to make its ripple, the water explodes, and I just see this mouth come out.
You're making like a 12-inch circle with
I'm telling you, this thing could have swallowed a volleyball and not burped.
Did he soft lift it?
Soft mouth it.
Soft mouthed it.
It wasn't no carp.
What it looked like happened, and this is all happening within a millisecond, but in slow motion in my mind. But
I know
what it looked
exactly
like
what that.
As this, it was my outdoorgasm. As this thing comes shooting out of the water, it actually pushed the lure away.
It missed it.
Yeah. So, and I'm just going no as I'm trying to set the hook as it's 3 feet away from its mouth at this point.
Some of the biggest fish I've ever seen. Some of the biggest fish I've ever seen go after topwater miss it. Yep.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing down there, though. Just the experience. And I tried to put in a couple different places, and I tried a couple different lures. And like I said, they're hitting top water at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's no reason for them to be.
Yeah.
I've got a little more experience now. I know next year, because we already booked the house again for next year. Same house.
I'm glad you did that. Yeah.
And now I know where to put in. I found the local launch, the ones that the locals use, and it's around the western side of the bay. Like, I got it nailed down now.
You have an entire year to tell your family that you now have another family, that you have 2 families to take with you next year.
Well, there was like I said, this house, I don't know if I did say it on here, but this house was amazingly huge. It was over 9,000 square feet.
We heard
there were 6 families that went with us. There was an empty master bedroom.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure
we could find a place to crash.
At least 4 dudes could be.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
How far from this house did you have to go to kayak bass fish?
I had 2 options. The first option is the one where Brad and I went, and depending upon the wind, you could get into some rough water. That's 10 minutes from the house. Where no matter what the wind is like, I can get into some of these little back channels that feed into the bay. 25 minutes.
That's not bad.
No.
It's
And
just
that
enough
place,
time to start tying everything up.
both of those places, and the reason why I was really searching to find this stuff was because a lot of the boat launches that are in this state wildlife refuge don't allow trailers to be parked in their parking lots. So all of the kayaks that I took with me, even though I pretty much fished 1 or 2 at a time,
2
I
kayaks?
had to bring kayaks with me. I trailered 7 kayaks down there.
Wow.
And so I had the trailer on the back with the kayak. So I had to find places where I could park.
Yeah.
The place I found where the locals launch from, it's a little restaurant. It's called Blue Pete's. So anybody that wants to fish the Back Bay in Northern Virginia, find Blue Pete's restaurant. Tell them
Cheesy Pete sent you.
the Rut and River Pursuit podcast sent you, because I was talking to the guys that were in there at the restaurant. Anyway,
Nice.
a lot of long stories short here.
No, I'm
but,
glad you had a blast.
It was amazing.
There's only one big issue with your new passion, your new addiction, is I can tell you that it doesn't get any easier. It actually gets worse. That rabbit hole continues to go down and down and down until, it's I still to this day love it more every time we go out. Yeah. Kayak fishing in general, bass fishing, and you just wait till we go out and catch flatheads off the kayak.
Flatheads is where the magic happens.
You might give up bass fishing, because that's even
It's madness.
2 o'clock in the morning, pitch black on the water, no
You're not
lights
going to
on,
be allowed out.
and this fish turns your kayak and drags it upriver.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It ain't right. It ain't right.
It's not
I
right.
did.
Will's addicted now.
All of the talk of the cottonmouth down there did have me a little nervous
The
because
talk of the cottonmouth.
at one point, like most of the time when I was fishing, I was anchored up. Right, so I do my fishing. If I laid into one, no problem. Everything's great. One time on the way back, because I knew some people were waiting for me back at the truck. On my way back, I'm just kind of fishing, throwing stuff in against the bank and reeling it back, and then I paddle 2 or 3 more times, hit another little spot. All of a sudden, wham! I lay into one, and I'm fighting this fish, and I'm getting it back. I landed it. I'm taking my pictures, and then about the time I'm done taking my pictures, I'm going to put my phone away. I start thinking again about the snakes, and you got to be aware of your surroundings. And I look around me. I've drifted now. I'm up against this tall grass where there could just be one just staring right at my shoulder. And I'm like, yeah, you weren't anchored up, idiot. What are you doing? Like that fish pulled me. As I'm fighting it, it was pulling me toward those grasses.
Let me
and stuff
stop
where
you
I got
there.
them out
It's
of.
two cottonmouths.
It was too cottonmouths.
No, I was a little bit perturbed, I guess. When you're sending all these pictures to us, last week when you were there, and you sent a couple pictures of some red drum.
Yeah.
There's a nice red drum. And anytime I've ever red drum fished, it's using the best live bait, taking care of it. Live shrimp are difficult to keep alive,
sure.
and so you buy them the night before, and it's an aerator and keeping them cool and all that, and
Singing them to sleep.
yeah, singing them to sleep and making sure they get enough rest, and walking them in the
Got a
morning.
big day tomorrow. Why don't you get to sleep?
Yeah. Rubbing its shoulders.
Rubbing their shoulders. And anyway, so Ryan sending these pictures, and I texted back, "What'd you catch those on, bud?" And I'm expecting something, amazing. And it's a day-old squid that is sitting out in the
Rotting
sun.
in the sun.
It literally was rotting in the sun. The night before we surf fished, and I handed my daughter, the one that we've all heard how great she is.
Yeah.
Well, she's good at fishing. She's not so good at being a mate, and handling the bait situation, because I handed her the bag, and I'm like, run this up to the house, which in my mind, I don't know if it was the extra drinks or anything I had while I was surf fishing, but in my mind, run this up to the house means go put it back in the freezer because this was frozen squid.
Yeah.
To her, run this up to the house means go up to the little back patio area
The
where the step
property
goes up
line.
to the pool and drop it in the sand right next to where Daddy puts all the rods and stuff.
Go to the property line and drop it.
So it's also the spot that gets like the all day sun, direct sunlight. Like that's where I should put it, is what she thought.
Well, it seemed to work.
You're just going to have to start to treat your shrimp bad.
I guess.
You're going to have to
Slap
start
them
to
around.
smack them around.
Call
I was
them
gonna
names.
say.
Degrade it. Yeah.
Yeah, deprive them of
hate
any,
you, shrimp.
deprive them of water. There's salt water for you.
I don't even know why you're here.
Wake them up early.
We
with
hate you.
Shine flashlights in
We
their
all
face.
hate you.
You're too tall to be a shrimp.
Shrimp.
Your day will come, Stevie. Your day will come.
Yeah.
You're the big striper this year.
What do you-
I mean, you got
What do you feed your dog?
it's getting there.
Saddlebags. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the cottonmouths aren't around here. They're only down south, and so
I saw a pic of a guy the other day online that got bit by a cottonmouth while he was noodling.
yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty rough looking on the hand.
I don't know if I could noodle.
I couldn't.
I don't really. I've never had any. It's one of those things. It's like jumping out of a plane. Do I want to do it or do I not want to do it? Because it sounds like exciting and adrenaline and fun, but at the same time terrifying. Because we didn't grow up doing anything like
know
that.
anything
So,
about it.
I like being able to count to 10.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd like to keep it that way.
Yeah. If we knew someone that
Especially if you rely heavily on your fingers to do so.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. If we knew somebody good that we trusted to take us, I would probably do
it'd
it.
help.
I have a guy I could call.
You know a guy.
Yeah.
Get out.
You call him, get him on the phone.
You want me
Let's
to call?
talk. Get him on there.
He's on the Instagram. I don't know. Is that
Oh, I got you. You talking about Jeff?
Jeff Barron.
Yeah. Call that guy up and get him on
Jeff
the phone.
Barron.
Let's talk with him.
70.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on. I'll get him on the phone.
He's from Alabama. Jeff, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, buddy. You know, I'm a big fan of your Instagram page.
It's amazing.
It is. And, I mean, you're pushing 10,000 followers. It's amazing, of people that just love to see you. And I'm just going to jump right into it. What your super outdoor passion is, you love to catch these giant catfish by hand.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's 10,000 people that just like the idea of him sticking his hand in the mouth of a catfish.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh, I started the Instagram, or Hannah did. My daughter, she started it that started in February. I think the 1st of February. So it's she got the ball rolling. I started out with 400, and it's getting big quick. Now,
It's blown
she's
up.
in the 72,000 or 73,000. I don't know. She's climbing big. They love to see her, but yeah, it's been something else. Me being a greenhorn and not knowing anything about it, it's snowballed, no doubt.
Well, you're doing amazing. Some of the key things that I like to see, other than noodling, and I can't wait to get into that because I have some questions about that, as it's here in Pennsylvania illegal to catch catfish by hand for some reason. And I know that they have a season in Alabama, so I want to get into that in more depth. But some of the things that I really love about your Instagram page, Bud, is I love it whenever you go and you have the little fuzzy-headed birds, and them snakes are always eating the birds, and you're always taking them snakes away to save them little birds. But
this guy just lives all things outdoors.
Absolutely.
I mean, we try, we say we do. I mean, we're always out every weekend doing something. But your Instagram tells a story that it's untold, like anybody else. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're avid outdoors hunting and fishing, and we camp, but we love to live outdoors. But Will's absolutely right. When you look down through your Instagram, everything from Millie, and like you said, your daughter Hannah, and
Millie
and the deer, yep,
right.
And all the posts that you put up here, you live it, boss. I mean, you're living in it. It's like the outdoors lives in you.
There you go. That's right. Well, I'm a mile. I guess you'd have to Google Earth it or something to see where I'm at, but I'm a mile off the dirt road. I mean, we're living in the middle of 400 acres, and it's way back here. So there's no cars. I mean, occasional helicopter, airplane, but that's just the way it is. I mean, just lucky enough to live somewhere like this, and I love it. But I always been outside. Grew up and kept Hannah outside, and either in the woods or on the water.
Yeah.
And you can tell she loves it as much as you do. Tell me,
she does.
Tell me the story, and I got a bunch of questions. I mean, I could talk to you for days, but what's really intriguing to me is the story of Millie, the deer. Can you tell our listeners the story of Millie and how she came about?
Oh yeah, I've got a neighbor. He's probably 3 miles up the road. I've raised deer ever since I was, 14, 15. We'd raise them. Now it's illegal to have them in a pen, but people still bring them to me, when they're babies. What they'll do is their dog will drag one up or something, and they'll bring it to me, and I'll raise it. I mean, we've done, I don't know how many over the years. Hannah's grown up doing it. My neighbor, I think his dog found this one and got a hold to it, and he kept it for a little while, and it was a little too much for him to do, to take care of. So he ended up bringing it to me and just raised it it was a little run, just a little old bitty thing. I mean, tiny.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, raised it.
Yeah, your bottle
raised
feeding
it on a bottle.
Wow.
She stays right here. She stays on the porch.
She sure does.
She'll leave.
She sure does seem that she loves you guys.
So
yeah,
she's a pet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does. She's like a little dog. When I get out of the truck, she thinks I'm gonna have them peanuts. So anybody that drives up, she's gonna meet you at the door. You got to give her some peanuts.
That's awesome.
And I got her. Let's see, that was September. See, our rut comes in January. So 90% of our fawns are born in the 1st of August. And this one was like the last of September. So you would know that it would be a yearling doe that bred late.
Right.
And that being, she's a runt. She was a little bitty.
Mm-hmm.
But she's just like one of the family. I mean, 90%, well, they've all gone wild, except for her so far. And knock on wood, I'm afraid she's going to turn wild, and probably will, because I've got a nightlight in the front yard with a feeder out there, and you ought to see the deer. They're out there every night. She's with them, so it's just a matter of time before.
Sure.
So eventually, they normally just leave.
Yeah.
I've got a doe that she's had twins. This will be her 3rd year if she has them this year. Oh, that she's had twins, and raised them right here,
Wow.
in the front yard. You
Wow.
see them at night. Now, she's spooky, but her first set of twins that she had, I could walk outside with a bucket of corn or something. She'd be standing in the front yard, and the little ones were spotted, and they just blow out the yard. And she'd just stand there, and I could walk out there. I could get, say, 50 yards from her, but now you can't do that, so.
Sure. Well, it's only it's only a matter of time for her to turn wild. Absolutely, but
that's right.
It's not always a bad thing, though. It's almost like a pet that runs off, hurts a little bit. But is that ultimately the goal you'd like to see her to go ahead and join the others?
It is, because we've got dog hunting club in the that borders our property in the back, and people come up and they've got their dogs with them, and she gets to where she's not scared of the dog, and then, of course, when the deer dogs start running, it'd be better off if she just turns wild.
Sure.
In the long run, it's going to be less of a heartache, if she just turns wild and
well, I see she learned her lesson with the coyotes.
Yeah.
Coyotes tried to grab her.
She did, yeah. She followed me turkey hunting that morning, and she ran 75 yards by me, but I was a mile from the house. And I didn't know it was her. And I got to thinking about it when I was walking out. I said, that deer was small, about like Millie. I said, I wonder, this ain't no way, because I was sitting way back there. And what it is she trailed me back there, because I had a turkey coming. And she came, the turkey was the same direction that Millie was coming from when she ran by me. And then all of a sudden that turkey quit gobbling, and that was it. Well,
thanks, Millie.
after I came back to the house, I went back that afternoon looking for Millie to, wonder where she was, and I saw the coyote tracks where she had made a loop, and that'll be run right back down that road, and the coyote tracks was right on her tail.
Man.
But she made it. She come back 2 days later.
Yeah.
Skint up. I'm talking about, looked like she'd been going through a meat grinder, but she made it.
And she's healed up pretty good now. The some of the posts that you have out there, she healed up pretty good.
She did. She was. I mean, she's still. They get scruffy looking right now. Anyway, it gets so hot down here in the south that they lose almost all of their hair by August. Man, they won't have hardly anything. Because it's so hot.
Yeah. I shot a deer in Maryland. It was early season for us, and that was the least hair I've seen on a deer. It was the first time. In PA, they're hairy as anything.
That heavy coat on.
Real heavy coat, but this one was real smooth and fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
well, you can see the skin on these. You can see the skin through the hair. I mean, they've got a hair like they lose 90% of it.
Yeah.
It gets so hot and humid down here that it. Have y'all ever been down here?
Through it
a little bit. Yeah, I was not in Alabama. I was in Louisiana. Is that why you?
It's hot and humid in Louisiana too. You just in August it's so.
Is that why you run around without your shirt on?
Yeah. There's no clothes in Alabama. They'll just stick to you. Yeah.
You don't wear clothes here. You just run outside in your underwear, because you can step outside in the next 2 months, July and August.
Mm-hmm.
You can step outside in the morning. I'm talking about at daylight,
mm-hmm.
and start sweating.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. You can do any kind of, when you start working, your shorts, your socks, and your boots. You have to put your boots in front of the fan. because, I mean, they're soaking wet every day.
Wring out your leather
that
boots.
afternoon.
Oh, man.
It's so miserable. And see, we grew up, we didn't even have air conditioning. We had a attic fan, you know?
Yeah. Well,
that just blows the hot air around.
Yeah, I mean, you would get a shower and jump in the bed soaking wet and try to go to sleep before it dried up. That was how hot it was.
That was the trick.
Yeah, you had to go to sleep before you dried out or you wouldn't make it, you know? Just wouldn't make it.
That's awesome. Well, I want to just jump right ahead of Catfish because I know he's dying to get on the topic of noodling. But since we talked about Millie, when I was looking through your Instagram, I couldn't get over the size of the racks I was seeing from those buck down there in Alabama now.
in the wall of deer.
Yeah.
The wall of bucks.
So
Oh, yeah.
I got a bunch of questions. I'm going to try to narrow it down here. But really the first thing since we started in with the conversation of Millie, the first question I had to myself was, does that change the way you feel about it at all? When you're in the stand and you've got, or I don't know if you hunt from a stand maybe, but when you're hunting deer, do you got the picture Millie in the background of in the back of your mind, or like how does that affect you at all?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. All right.
It doesn't. It goes. Yeah, I go.
Grow up, Ryan.
I'm just asking the question. I mean, that was one of the first things I thought about.
Actually, that's a good question because I would have thought the same thing.
I'm just kidding.
No. Oh.
I mean, I got a German Shepherd, so I was not going to go German Shepherd.
Like that.
Yeah.
But no, it don't change a thing, man. I love it.
You got some pretty big bucks down there. I mean, you got some great hunting shots on your Instagram page, and I can tell archery's your passion. So
yeah, we got some decent deer. 158 inches is the biggest deer I've I guess ever seen down this this way. But up in North Alabama years ago, I saw one that was, I'm gonna say, in the upper 160s maybe. Now that's the biggest deer I've seen.
Right.
Period.
Now let me ask you a question though. What's the average weight on the hoof, or even once you get something back, gut it out even? What kind of weight are we talking about on a buck that's pushing 150?
Oh, well, believe it or not, the 150, that's not an average. I wish that was, but 100 inches, probably 100 inches, it would be a decent deer.
Right. Seriously. So you're probably talking like 3.5, maybe 4.5-year-old deer. I'm just wondering, like, what's the weight that you're looking at for?
3.5-year-old deer. I'm going to say here on this place, we've got real runny racks, but huge body. I'm going to say 175.
Okay.
On a 5.5-year-old deer, I've killed them 240 here.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay, and I've killed now. This is, we've got a very little bit of farmland here. I've killed them in the river swamps. That 158-inch deer probably didn't weigh 175 pounds.
Yeah. See, that's
he was 5.5 years old.
That's sort of what I was thinking about there. Is like I was imagining that the body size, the average body size on these whitetails down there, isn't quite as big as they are up here in Pennsylvania, at least in some parts of the state.
No.
So,
they would be smaller.
But a rack that still measures 158 makes it look like a 200-inch rack on a Pennsylvania deer. You know what I mean? Like just body size a little bit smaller. That's like you go up hunting somewhere in Canada and you see a buck and you're like, oh, that looks like a solid 10-point. I'll bet you he can score about 120, 130. You put him on the ground, he's 190 because he weighed 300 pounds.
Yeah, and then you get down to Texas and the deer weigh 70 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. So I was wondering where you fell in that spectrum. The body weight sounds like it does have a good range to it. Depends on where you're at. If you're in the marsh versus
it depends on the farmland. If genetics down here, I mean, I can seriously go 10 miles in one direction and have better genetics than we've got here on this place. Occasionally you're going to have one that a decent deer, but 125-inch 8-point here is big.
Yeah.
It's just big. You start killing 8 points in the 130s, and, I've got 142-inch deer. I've got maybe a couple of 8 points that'll go in the 130s. I think Hannah's got maybe a couple. Yeah, she's got a couple 8 points that are going to 130s, low 130s.
Well, I can promise you when I'm out archery hunting, anything that comes by me that's got 100 inches of rack,
it's gone.
I'm not letting it keep walking.
You're calling for help to track it.
Me too. Down here, you definitely will, because you fixing to blister this bad boy. Because these things here, I hunted last year in Missouri, and there is a lot in Kentucky, and there's a lot of difference between hunting these down here. That's been, they'll put 20 July hounds on a deer down here and run the dog mess out of it. I'm talking about for, You know how you see them in a field? You see deer feeding in a field in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a soybean field or corn, or y'all don't have peanuts, but we got peanut fields, and you don't see them here in the afternoon.
I got to hold you up, Jeff. I can't wait. I can't wait to tell one of my friends one day that I'm hunting archery over a peanut field. I mean, that, when you're not from your area, that sounds kind of funny.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You ought to see what these peanuts will put on a deer, though.
I believe it.
Really?
I can just imagine.
Man, we got to start growing
these
peanuts.
Peanuts, man, they will, and the coyotes, when they pick the peanuts down here, that's when we start wearing the coyotes out, because what they'll do is they got this machine that inverts them. It'll turn them upside down, flip the peanuts up out of the ground, and they grow in the roots of the plant. Anyway, they let it. They want to do it right before rain. That way it'll wash the majority of the sand off of the peanuts, and then when they dry, they can pick them, and they're not nasty.
Yeah.
When they pick them, they blow. I'm going to say 20% of the peanuts fall off. Well, the coyotes love them, and the deer too, and turkeys and everything else. But you can set up on this peanut field and call them coyotes in the morning.
Mm-hmm. See, now you're going to go coyote hunting on the peanut field too, aren't you, Catfish?
I can't wait. I mean, I'm not even halfway through this podcast, and I want to go to Alabama.
Y'all need to come down here and burn up a little bit.
Oh,
in the wintertime, though, it's nice. I mean, I've got a friend from Indiana. He moved down here. He loved it. Moved down here. He complains all summer long about the heat, and complains all winter long about the cold. He said, I have been raised in northern Indiana my whole life, and he said, I have never been so cold in my life. Sitting in one of these clear cuts down here, deer hunting.
Just because your body adjusts to it.
Yeah, I think that's got to be what it is. We went down to Destin, Florida the last time. Last time I was through Alabama, we stayed down in Destin, Florida for about 2 weeks over Christmas. That was 2 years ago. But the weather in December, it was beautiful. Yeah. So I don't know what that guy was talking about being cold over wintertime, but it was nice out in December.
Jeff, when we hunt geese up here in February, it's -10, and we're laying on the ground all day in -10 weather and the snow and blowing. I might just have to come down in February sometime and see how cold it really is in Alabama, where this guy's complaining.
Yeah, well, come down here, because we extended our season through the 10th of February, so come down. But now our weather, it can be 9 degrees one day, and then the next day it can be 60 or 70. That's just the way it is here. It's weird.
Wow. That's almost like Pennsylvania.
It gets so cold that Blue Northerner come ripping across here, and it'll drag that stuff that y'all got up there down here too.
Absolutely.
It gets rough.
They'll get your peanuts shaking.
Yep.
That's right.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Well, I love the fact that you like to train yourself for archery in the off season, because it is important to hold form. It's important to keep yourself fit for that shot, so that we don't make improper or bad shots when that time comes. But and talking about archery, I mean, you also train your body and your form in the off season by another passion that I see you have, which is bow fishing. And is that just you guys, or is that a big thing in Alabama down there?
It's a big thing. It is. If y'all check out Hannah's Instagram, she's down in she's in Orange Beach this week with her boyfriend's family down there, and the state killed a 100-pound stingray last night.
Wow. Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, we were looking at that. Yep.
That's a big old red, big southern. It looks like.
Yeah, now don't. If y'all ever do that, don't throw them back. Now, eat them.
No,
we eat everything that we kill except for groundhogs.
That's the way we are too. The only thing I don't eat is the carp. and I put them under my tomatoes.
Yeah.
When we shoot carp or something, and I've tried to eat them, fellas, you just can't do nothing with them.
Yeah, we do the same. We do the same as you. We take everything that we need and nothing more. But it's the carp are just like the groundhogs. I mean, I've tried them both different ways, and there's not really a great. Even if you mix carp with groundhog, it probably isn't going to be that great.
Not enough Heinz ketchup on the table, huh?
There is not
That
enough.
may be good there.
Jeff, how do you like to eat stingray? How do you cook them?
I cut them up into chunks, and I'll soak them in the Frank's Red Hot for about an hour before I fry them, and batter them with flour. Everybody says cornmeal, but get you some self-rising flour and be done with it.
It's a good thing Phil's
Get
not
that
here.
grease, about 300 on the grease, and 4 minutes. Cut those chunks. Don't get too huge with them, but good sized chunk. Say a 50-cent piece. And 4 minutes. Pull them out of that grease, and now they won't be hot, but they'll have enough of that Frank's Red Hot. Have you ever heard? Y'all got that up there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we eat that on everything, even the Cheerios.
Yeah, there
That
you go.
stuff's the good
You
stuff.
do the catfish. Catfish same way. But we cut all the red meat off of the catfish before we cook that because it'll be too fishy. Cut the tail off when you clean him. Cut all the red meat off and soak him in Frank's. Put some garlic salt on him. Batter him in flour and
That's got to be
4
good.
minutes
Sounds
in the
good.
grease. And man,
We
They're
did those. We did those crappies. We soaked them in buttermilk. But
Yeah.
I'll bet you the Franks would have done just as good.
Yeah, I learned a trick with a lot of the fish, Jeff, that I've caught in my life. That I've soaked them in buttermilk overnight because for years I would bring catfish home from the river, and I'd throw them into my bathtub overnight and let the water turn brown and then drain it, and then that would get a lot of the impurities out of it until I got married, and then she didn't like catfish in the bathtub.
she ain't gonna have that. I know. Ooh, I was sitting there thinking about my wife. I bring about 4 or 5 big flatheads and said, "Baby, I'm gonna let these swim around in the tub overnight." We know what the brown water is that we pour on. Yeah, she would freak out.
It's got a
man.
drain. I don't know why everybody's getting bent.
I have
Hose it out.
I have a very special woman that loves me for me, but yes.
Ain't no doubt.
She
Yeah,
still
but
has her
then you
limits.
said, then I got married, and that's what then you got married.
So he had to
broke
change.
that up,
He had
didn't
to change his recipe a little bit.
Had to
Yeah.
change the recipe to soak them in buttermilk overnight. Yeah, yeah. But bow fishing down in Alabama, I see that you guys get the gar, which we don't have up here, and obviously carp. Is there any other species that you guys get while you're out?
Yeah, them big catfish. Yeah, we'll shoot them too.
Yeah.
You can legally shoot catfish. Y'all call them bowfin, I think.
Yeah. They're the prehistoric bowfin.
Bouvier.
My dad calls them bouviers.
Bouvier.
Yeah, that's
they
what.
call them sockeye down in Louisiana.
There
No,
you
not
go.
sockeye. That's a crappie. Cypress trout, or I can't remember what Daddy called him. He's from now. He grew up down there. I call them grinnell.
Yeah.
That's what we call them. That, and they call them blackfish and mudfish. But you can shoot those. You can shoot gar. You can shoot carp, catfish. But you can't shoot brown, bass, crappie. Y'all call them crappie. You can't shoot no kind of game fish.
Sure. Do you got snakeheads down there? Because we have a invasive species of fish here in the Potomac River and our surrounding areas called snakehead. And
y'all got those up there?
yeah, we do, and they're phenomenal eating fish. So and they're targeted pretty heavy by the bow fishermen, but they breed 3 times a year, and they have lots of eggs in them. And once you got them, they're almost impossible to get rid of, and they're extremely aggressive.
I knew
fish.
Yeah, that's what they said. I watched a show where they were biting. They bite folks, but I knew they had them down in South Florida. I didn't realize they had them up there.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
You don't want to hand fish those.
No. No, maybe that's why it's illegal to hand fish here in Pennsylvania because
It might be.
of things that we have. I mean, I heard a story of a kid getting bit by trying that in this area. I think it was down on the Pennsylvania-Maryland border a couple years back, and he actually got his hand bit by a beaver. So,
oh man,
which messed him up pretty
down here.
You don't want to noodle a beaver.
Down here, they don't care. Y'all go ahead and get at it, boys. Yeah, it don't matter. Beaver, we got more beavers than the biggest snapping turtles. Me and Hannah's caught snapping turtles way over 100 pounds.
No, it's
I got them in a pond. I got a little pond behind the house that I've got 60-pound flatheads in, and I got 2 turtles in that thing that's over 100 pounds, and then I got another 5 or 6. We don't eat the turtles anymore. I used to eat them years ago when we was growing up. We'd eat them. We don't eat those big gator turtles now. Y'all got gator turtles or just loggerheads?
No, we just have the regular old American snapping turtle.
Yeah, loggerhead. Yeah, we call them loggerheads.
Okay, we call them Grandma's chicken because my grandma couldn't cook chicken, so not real well anyhow. But
man, we grew up eating them things. Woo.
Yeah. Grandma would make snapping turtle, and I remember she would make like cabbage, like some kind of cabbage soup. And she'd make me eat Brussels sprouts. And to this day, if you mixed all that shit together and mixed it up with some groundhog and carp, you'd feed that to the ISIS and they'd be gone.
That's right. Let me tell you though, we didn't have no choice.
Yeah.
I was 9 years old when I saw the first store-bought pork chop that had a bone in it. See, everything we'd ever done.
That's
yeah. We didn't have a meat sauce, so we raised hogs and killed them.
Yeah.
But we boned everything out. So when I saw something with a bone in it, and it wasn't a squirrel leg or a rabbit leg, I said, Mama, what the hell is this?
What's wrong with this
she
cut
said,
of meat?
That's a pork chop. Yeah. I said,
No, it ain't.
It don't look like our pork chops. She said, that's store-bought, son. I said, oh, okay. And I'm 46 years old now. Not everybody, nobody grew up like I did, really.
Yeah.
I was sort of the oddball in school until I got, grown. And then, I was the popular one because everybody wanted to go hunting or fishing or whatever. But, growing up, people just didn't know how to take it all.
No,
I didn't grow up like that.
I completely understand, Jeff. I was the oddball out. Will met me through an oddball story, something like that. So.
Yeah. Well, Catfish and I, we go way back to elementary school, and first time I heard about that Catfish was I heard about this kid at recess that got bit by a copperhead. Everybody's playing kickball and swinging on the swing sets and stuff, and Catfish is down by the little slough and the stream and stuff, where he's not supposed to be.
Right.
Catching crawfish.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me right there.
Well, like I said, Jeff, this is one of the reasons I picked you for the podcast is because, a lot of people love the outdoors, but, the outdoors resides in some people.
Yeah.
And it's written all over your face in your pictures, and I'm glad that you shared them with us.
Yeah. And back to the meat, the hogs and stuff. Just looking at your Instagram, you guys do not go hungry. And I think that's a big misconception,
I actually think that if it was cold in their area, Jeff would weigh 300 pounds instead of the way he looks because he sweats in his sleep.
I have to run to keep this weight. Because I eat like a horse. I run, I run every other day. We got heart disease in the family, and the last, couple of years, I quit dipping snuff, and I gained a little bit of weight on that, so I started running. Every other day I'll get up and run, believe it or not, with all the other crap I got going on, but I'll get up at daylight and run to the end of the driveway and back, which is, a couple of miles. I've tried to do that every other day. Sometimes I miss, but.
Well, I think you pretty much have to do something like that when you got 3 hogs hanging and 5 laying in the back of the bed.
Yeah.
You know, there's
That's
nothing.
right. Yeah, because that's some cholesterol, man. Let me tell you. But I get so much exercise just loading this stuff up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
Load it
yeah.
up in the back of the truck. I mean, you got to think about all that lifting right there.
But nobody gets that. They go to Burger King or, go through the drive-thru, and nobody gets the amount of exercise just to acquire the meat.
Right. Or somebody spending
process.
hundreds of dollars at the gym to do the same workout that he's getting just to be able to eat the food.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right. That's right.
Well, I see.
Yeah, did you see Hannah killed one? Hannah killed one back during deer season, and she called me. And she said, Daddy, I got that big black hog we got on camera. I said, well, good, baby. And I knew it was going to be big. And she
Did you tell
said,
her, go ahead, drag it on out here?
Yeah, well, I did. I knew it was big. We had pictures of it on trail cam. I said, that's a pretty good size hog. She said, yeah, she was looking, a couple hundred yards down there at it when she shot it. She said, it looks like it's probably 150, 200 pounds. I said, well, just wait till Hunter comes through. He lives up north. He comes down every other weekend. He was coming that way. I said, well, let him heavy load it. Because I was 30 miles. I was home, and she was at a lease we've got, 30 miles north of here.
Sure.
So they called me up an hour later and said, can't load it. Can't get the tailgate down. I said, you can't load the hog? She said, no, sir, I can't get it. She said, we done busted 3 ratchet straps trying to ratchet strap it up the tree. So that's what I said, well, let me come up there and help you. So I get in the truck, go up there, and I said, hey, no damn wonder this hog is 400 or plus, huge. Look on her. I think she's got it on her Instagram. Yeah. I think she just put it on there not too long ago. Big black hog, big. Anyway, it was. We didn't weigh it, but I'm going to say 400. When you see her standing beside it, she looks like a little termite.
Yeah, and this is under her Instagram under Hannah Barron 96.
Yeah, Barron. Yeah,
Barron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hannah Barron.
Yeah, look
excuse
and
me.
see if you see a huge hog.
Oh yeah,
and her standing beside it.
Holy jeez!
We got the picture. We got the picture up here, Jeff.
Yeah,
Wow.
It is amazing.
She does look like a termite.
My son shot a boar, here back over the winter. He drew a tag for a Russian boar, and he shot that thing. I'll bet you it was 170 pounds. That thing,
Doesn't, yeah. It's amazing.
yeah, that's ridiculous.
What kind of hogs do you have down there?
Wow. I don't know.
Are there?
I don't know what they are really. I don't know if they're.
They're all pharaoh hogs and
Delicious.
Yeah, they're feral because
Looks a whole lot like the Russian boar.
yeah.
I mean, looking at the big.
It does. Well, see,
Yeah.
you'll get some of them that'll have that long hair on their back, and then you'll get one that'll run out there and he'll have white spots all over him. You think, well, where'd he come from? But they've mixed up so much with the feral hog, with the domesticated hog going wild. I guess that's where they get that color variation. But a lot of when they're born, this is what's strange. You know how the little babies will be camouflaged? They have stripes on them.
Absolutely.
And only the wild hogs have that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the way these are. When they're born, except for the white, the ones that's got the white spots, and they'll still have the white spots. But the red ones will have the little tan lines, the camouflage. I've got to tell you all the story of Hannah. Day after deer season, I'm at work, sick, depressed, sad. I said, and I talked to Hannah. She's getting out of school. I said, baby, go sit in that clear cut down there and shoot every hog you can see. Let's start trimming down on them. Let's start working on them this spring and summer, and because the fella lets us hunt it, so we get those hogs off of there.
Right.
So, okay, Daddy. So she calls me up. She said, Daddy, I got 3 in one shot. I said,
What?
Excellent. Good. I'm sitting there talking to her on the phone. I said, that's great, man. That's great. I'll be there after work. I'll load them up. We'll skin them out. She said, hold on, Daddy. I said, oh, Lord. She called me back up and said, how big do those pigs have to be before they'll make it on their own? I said, I don't know, baby, but you just killed a big sow, right? She said, yes. Now, down here, these things are a nuisance. You have got to kill them.
Right.
I mean, they reproduce. It's a felony now to catch these pigs and transport them alive. That's what our government's doing down here.
Wow.
Yeah. I know they're a problem.
Oh, yeah, they are. So she shoots. I said, how you killed Big Sal? I said, how many pigs? She said, there's 7. I said, I'll be there in a minute. I said, let me finish this up. I said, I'll be there. I said, just sit right there. Fellas, when I walked up I had a catfish net, big old catfish net, in a trash can. Mm-hmm. I said, when I walked up there, she's sitting Indian style in a fire break, fire lane.
Right.
There's a 200-pound sow laying there dead, and there's 7 pigs on top of the sow. Her gun barrel is touching the sow's nose, and them little pigs is laying on top of their mama. Yeah, I walked up when I did. They all took off running. He's running all through the woods. I gave her the net. I stepped back. It came right back. She caught 6 of them.
Oh, man.
We raised every one of them.
I bet. I knew that was coming.
Yeah, this is before it was a felony, and we raised every one of them. And needless to say, they sure were good.
That's why you got to run every other day.
Yeah, they were good.
Keep on running, Jeff. Yep. And that's one of those. Moments that makes you a sportsman is, exactly what you did. And plus, I'm sure Hannah probably enjoyed raising them pigs too. So
she did, and by the time they get to the age of killing, which I mean, they got hog parlors, I guess, up north. They still raise hog. They got hog houses, so I mean, but people gonna eat pork regardless.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So by the time they get 200 pounds. The little bitty, ooh, aren't they cute, has wore off these big stinking jokers. It's time to eat these things.
Yeah.
Yep,
I mean, the kids have enjoyed them. When they were little, they played with them, and once they get older, it's just
There's a fine line between cute and tasty. Yeah, and it's right around 175 pounds.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Jeff, at least you got to eat them.
Hung up his butt and him, over fire. That's right.
At least you got to eat them. My wife likes to bring baby barn kittens home, and they don't stay kittens for long. And then we got cats running around. So.
Yeah. I ain't never liked a cat.
Well, and I'm the same way. The little tiny kittens that don't do anything but meow and can't walk. Yeah, they're cute. I mean, I got a soft spot, but they become cat. They become cats real quick. They become cats real quick.
I only ever liked one cat in my life, and a couple buddies of mine let it out of the house the other day.
Yeah, it's going.
Oh boy,
here we go.
Here we go.
That's a different story for another night.
Jeff, we're running a little shorter on time than I wanted to because I could talk to you for weeks, but my real key thing that I wanted to ask you on the podcast is I would like, and the campfire story, I'd like you to walk me through what it feels like from start to finish when you got to go underwater and find one of these cats, to what it goes through your head whenever they clamp down and pull them out and wrestle them. Can you walk me through, noodling a catfish?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think so. All right. We find the holes with our feet, and I'm gonna say 90% of the ones that a lot of it we put structures out there for these fish to get in. But say on a boat ramp, the boat ramp is concrete, goes out into the water where you offload your boat.
Yep.
These big catfish, people when they loading their boat up, they'll get it halfway up on the trailer and they'll gas on it, and that'll create a backdraft on the back of that concrete. Mm-hmm. And all it's got to do is get a hole started under that concrete, and then those catfish will do the rest. So a lot of these things, they might be 7-8 foot deep, depending on how long the ramp is.
Whoa.
Well, when you go under, the size of the hole, of course, is going to be the size of the fish. So if you've got one, say you go down there and you've got a 2-foot hole, where this fish is blowing this thing out, then, you automatically know that you fixing to get, you probably it's going to be rough. He's going to hit you like a ball bat. And if he's a blue cat, if any of y'all have ever stuck your hand in a blue cat's mouth, they bite.
I haven't.
Just Uncle Catfish.
Yeah, well, they bite so much harder than a flathead. But
it's a right.
What that fish is trying to do is when you stick your hand in there, they just think it's a turtle or a brim, and they're trying to intimidate you to get them off of their bed, because that's where their bedding is, up in this hole. So when they pop you, you can be sitting in the boat 50 yards away and you can hear it. I know it sounds crazy, but it sounds like a car door slamming way off. Just
wow.
If you're standing in front of that hole, blocking or something, you can feel the water just rush across your feet when he hits. You can feel the concrete vibrate when he hits.
You got the hair standing up on my arms. I want to do this so bad.
There's so much water going through this fish's mouth when he hits you. It's like a bass. They said a 10-pound bass has got like 4 gallons of water that goes through his gills when he's sucking up the brim. That brim can be 12 inches from his mouth, and he can suck it to him. Well, that's the same way a flathead is. They operate on the same, just a vacuum. So you can hear that underwater. Huh. But when he hits you, instead of instinctively snatching away, you have to hold to it and grab him. And it's like sitting in a tree stand during the rut, $5 chasing a doe, and one monster that you're trying to get, and you can't get a shot at him. It's just, boom, 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 boom. Just love it. The more he hits, the more you're just trying to get him. You just gotta try it, man. You just have to try it.
You ain't got to talk me into it.
How many times?
I guarantee. Go ahead.
How many times do they normally hit before you grab them? So it's several times that he's gonna...
Yeah, sometimes. Well, see, they're grabbing. Some of them will get you. You can have your hand, just fingers spread out.
Okay.
Some of them are so big that when they bite you, the first thing that you feel is the lips on your forearm.
Oh,
and when they hit you, they take in the hide. Now, let me tell you, when if it's not covered with some kind of fabric, they fixing to scuff your butt up.
I saw Hannah got ripped up by one not long ago.
Yeah, well, that one was spinning. They'll spin.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's after you grab them, they'll start spinning. And I've had people say, I don't care if he's 75 pounds. He ain't going to break loose when I get a hold of him. Well,
yeah.
I have, yeah. But let me tell you, I have seen them just whoop them boys in the ground.
Yeah, and I'm not even pulling them out of their holes, Jeff. I've tournament blue cash fished for years on the Potomac, and we net them onto the boat, but it's a rite of passage to not use gloves or anything to take them to weigh in. So a lot of times I got to walk 100 yards with 2 60-pound plus blue cats on my shoulders and, my hands in both of their mouths. And they do get aggressive on the way to weigh in because, we keep them very lively. They have to swim away alive or else you're disqualified. So on the way up there, when we weigh them in and then we let them go, it's a rite of passage that both of your hands and your knuckles are bleeding or else you didn't do it right.
Right, yeah.
So
you can imagine, you can only imagine then one that big in a hole protecting her little one.
Yeah, pulling them out of a live well compared to ripping them out of their house is a whole different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, see, hey, I tell you what, when they're bedding here, I can put them because I've got a friend that's got a pond, and of course I put them in my pond too, those big flatheads. I can pull them out of these holes and put them in a live well, which is a cattle trough with I bolted a lid on it with a hinged top, where I can get in and out, and I got a big aerator in there. But it's a big old cattle trough. Anyway, I can put them in there, and when I go to get them out, I have been bit again.
Oh, absolutely.
There's just, I guess an instinct thing. They just, protecting their little ones. They think they're still in that hole because that lid's closed. You stick your hand in there and boom, they'll hit it again.
Yep. I mean, we call it a cat box, but that's what we have on the tournament cat boats up here. It's pretty much a Rubbermaid horse trough, and with a jet aerator that's epoxied into the side of it running from the river, and that's what keeps them alive, good all day. So I get that part, and it keeps them lively. They don't like it when you get them out of there. So.
They're going to eat you up, man. Let me tell you, these the blue cats were a lot harder hitting than the. Let me tell you, the first time we went, I went with a friend of mine. He's a game warden, and he said, "You want to go noodling?" I said, "Man, I can't wait. Let's go." I had cut up a bunch of wood for him on the sawmill, and didn't charge him, of course, because you may have to have that one day. That brownie points, but he took us. He took us up there, and and I was coming out of the boat. He said, "There's one. Got a fish right here. Come on, let's go." I was going out of the boat, and this young whippersnapper that went with us, he ain't never done it either. Luckily, he jumped out of the boat first. So I said, "Well, I'll just let him catch this fish." Well, this kid goes down, and they got a water heater underwater, and it's got a 60-something pound blue cat in this water heater. Well, he comes back up with one hand in this fish's mouth, and he just comes easing up to the top. And across the top of this fish's head is probably 12 or 14 inches across the top of his head. Good sized fish. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And his fish is just sitting there, clamped down on this kid's hand. Well, about the time we thought, there ain't nothing to this. This fish spun, and when he did, I heard everybody, you could hear it pop. I said, his arm is broke. There's no doubt. It's broke.
Oh.
It didn't break it. But when that kid took his glove off, he had a glove on, it took every bit of the skin off the top of his hand. I'm talking about, man, y'all wouldn't believe it. I said, Brad, which was the fellow that took us. I said,
"Take
dude,
me
are
home."
you serious? Yeah, do you have a little 12-inch polywog or something out here I'm going to noodle up? Because I don't want no part. I don't want no part of that right there. But by the end of the day, it was a different story because I had done caught some 25, 30-pound blue cats, and I was so psyched up then, man, you could have run over me with a tractor trailer. I was good. I was tensed up, tight. I'm talking about kind of caught one. I just snatched her up and the fish and threw them in the boat. And I said, "Where's another one?" I was fired up, loving it.
You've been addicted to it ever since, I'm sure.
Ever since, man. It's just, if you can put, let's see, we put probably 400 pounds of fish in the boat in 2 hours.
Wow.
Without a hook.
Without a hook.
Well, no, we've got hooks, but I won't tell you what they're for. They're for sticking in your back of your leg like I did this one.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. How's that doing, by the way? Is infection gone?
It's good. I've got a knot about the size of a golf ball, but that's where when I snatched it out, I think I tore that. That big old leader that goes up the back of your thigh?
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, well, I think I tore it when I snatched that hook out, but I had to snatch it out.
Yeah,
it was attached to that 35-pound catfish, but it got infected, and they had to cut it open, and it had to heal from the inside out, and it set me back, 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm good now.
You're good now?
I mean, I got a big knot, in the back of my leg.
The wound itself is good and closed over and all?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the hole is, I'm looking at it right now. It's good now. It's just, like I said, it's got that beauty bump right there, Looks like
Beauty bump.
That's
that's beauty bump. Yeah, I got knots and cuts, man. Let me tell you, I've been cut. I stuck a knife. I killed a deer one time with a knife. A big deer, like a 180-pound deer. Believe it or not, a deer can still run with you attached to his horns. He can pick you up. Anyway, I cut that deer, and started back to the house, and I felt something dripping on my finger. I looked down, I seen the blood dripping on my finger. So I said, that son of a gun done hooked me somehow. He got one of them horns around here and got me. And I felt that bone in my forearm. Well, I got back to the house, and I looked at my shirt. I had about 1.5 inches hole in my shirt, and I said, uh-oh, I know what happened. And that knife, it did too. It went in the bottom of my forearm and come out the top of it.
Yeah, and it was that sharp that you didn't feel it. Yep, fast.
Man. Yeah, and it cut all that mess in there. But we stuck garden hose. That's when Hannah was little. We stuck the garden hose in one side and blew the hair and mess out the other. The next day, I went to work, just like I always do, and I couldn't move my pinky finger and the finger next to it. And I said, uh-oh. And it took, I probably couldn't pull a hair out of a sick cat's butt with them 2 fingers, but them other 2 fingers, let me tell you, you don't want them on you.
Compensating.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still almost have to look at them sometimes, get them to move. But they work. They're fine now. They're just not strong.
Yeah.
Jeff,
I don't even remember where I was going, man. I got to going every which way, and I don't even remember where I was headed.
That's what it's all about. It's all about having fun, brother. We love the stories.
These are campfire stories as far as we're concerned. We call it the Sonic Campfire.
Let me tell you, y'all would not believe.
Now, Jeff, do you do this? Do you do noodling just for fun, or do you take people out like on guided trips, or is this all just something you do?
No, it's just for fun. I mean, matter of fact, fellas, I'm going to say 75% of the fish we turn back, because we eat, we get enough to eat, and if Mom and Daddy want some, or, we cook a bunch of them for a big campsite up there where we stay on Lake. We cook a bunch for them, so we'll keep, enough to cook like tomorrow night or something, But I'll fill the freezer up. But, I mean, we catching, 3,000-4,000 pounds a season. You don't.
Wow.
You really don't need that many.
You don't want it to go to waste, right?
What is that season, Jeff?
Yeah, when's noodling season for you? Right, exactly.
It's not a game and fish season. It's just a season when they're in the hole. You know what I'm saying? Okay. We don't have like like from March to 20th. It's not like that. It's They'll get in the hole depending maybe the end of April through right through the middle of July. I think we've actually gotten bit in August, but the water's so hot and it's like getting in bath water,
So is June your best month then, you think?
Yeah, or May. Yeah, the last of May probably. I won't say May.
What pushes them into the hole, Jeff? Or
water temperature, just like carp spawning or whatever. It just, it's water temperature. They say 66, and because we're freezing to death right there at the first of, when we first start noodling, and then by the end, the fish are small and they're all blue cats, and I guess they wait until the last. When we first start, you'll catch some small flatheads. And then you'll start catching bigger ones. I think the bigger ones move in and just blow the smaller ones out. And,
territorial.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they get to fight, and those blue cats really get to fight, and they'll get skin up.
Oh, yeah.
They'll get to fighting one another. Those males will, and biting each other, and they look like, they have big white spots all over them where they've been bit many times.
Now, I'm sure you've probably been asked this 1,000 times, but I got to ask it just to get it on the record here. But how do you know there's not something other than a catfish in that hole when you stick your arm in there?
Or your foot.
You don't. I got 2 years ago, I stepped in a hole, and it was a fish. But that thing hit me so hard, through the shoe, he blew the skin off of my big toe and the two next to it. I'm talking about took it off. That blue cat hit me so hard. And I would have swore it was a turtle or something,
Wow.
And I've stepped on a bunch of turtles, big turtles. We step on them when we're walking around every now and then. I've stepped on them, and they just ease on out, But, and we've got gators. Where I went today, me and my cousin, they killed the world record alligator. 2 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, this place right here is, I mean, huge alligator.
Your cousin killed that world record alligator.
No.
Yeah.
No, I went where I went today with my cousin.
Okay.
That's where they caught it.
He didn't kill it. No, he didn't kill it.
I think I seen that thing was
a tank.
Yeah, that was. Then they.
All right. Well, you know what?
The end of it.
There was a chance you could have talked me into this.
All right. Yeah.
Up until about 45 seconds ago. I'm out.
So, show of hands around this table. Who wants to go to Alabama and noodle with Jeff?
I'll film it.
Will you go with me, Steve?
I'll get down. I'll fish with the rod.
Yeah, but that's the only now where we go up North Alabama, it's not. There's alligators, but there's not many. You know, that they've seen it. I ain't never even seen an alligator up there. I don't know. But
I don't know.
Now, where we're at out here, Hannah was checking a box, a bill boxes, and we put tractor tires out for the fish to get in. But she checked one day, and then she jumps in the boat, and she's facing me. I'm driving the boat. She said, "Dad, look at that." And she had just gotten in the boat from that box, and here comes the alligator just swimming right over that box, just.
It's amazing that you guys just grew up in a different world than we're in, because I mean there's some crazy things that we do up here on the river and in the mountains, but we don't put our arms in alligator holes. So my hat's off to you.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
you might crawl into a
fox den to get a fox out, but in Pennsylvania it's a big thing in the spring to go in and pull the bear cubs out where the bear mom's hibernating and check them out. The Game Commission does that, but a muddy hole.
I've seen that on television.
Yeah.
I saw them do that. That'd be cool. They tag them and stuff.
Yep. A muddy hole with a beaver, or an alligator, or a snapping turtle, a chippewa, whatever they're called, whatever might be in that hole. The grand high that you would get from like you said in rut season with a big buck drop tine run around. Jeff, I say this a lot on this podcast, and I swear that it'll be the last time. I swear the last time it'd be the last time. But I don't invite myself to do much very often. Until tonight. But no, someday down the road, man, I don't think there's a better guy out there to actually, show us how to do this.
I don't either.
Come on. Man, when you get ready, come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Can I just, here's the thing. I don't like the heat, so I'd have to run around in my underwear, too. You're just going to have to be fine with that. Because I'm not...
Look, we'll be twins, man. It'll be fine. Just come on. I mean, how big a dude are you, anyway?
About 220, about 5'11".
220. Well, you got me. Yeah, you got me about 60 pounds, but I'll just be the little brother. That'd be all right.
Oh, no, I'll be the big brother. That's got... Yeah,
his beard covers most of it. Don't worry.
my beard covers my belly. No,
when y'all get ready to do it, though, seriously, come on and I'll show you. I'm not going to let y'all. When you go down, it's going to be a catfish. There's no doubt. I wouldn't let everyone that Hannah catches. I know it's a catfish.
All right, as long as somebody's on Gator Watch, I'm in. Yeah. Somebody on Gator Watch out there.
I mean,
he's gonna treat Ryan like you do Hannah, please.
I'm gonna take care of y'all.
Don't let anything happen to our boy Ryan.
Jeff, this has been. We say this too every week. I mean, unfortunately, we're about out of time, and I had such a blast, and I have so much more to ask you about your amazing woodworking skills and on and on. There's so much about your Instagram page that I found intriguing, and your life. You briefly hit on your dad that lived down south. There's so much more that I could get into that I almost think we need a Jeff Barron Part 2.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we can put that on the books and continue this again down the road. And
man, when y'all get ready, just give me a holler.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. I had a blast tonight. I love your stories.
Absolutely. Hey,
I did too, fellas. Y'all gonna have to tell me y'all's stories now. When y'all get down here to noodle some catfish, we'll get caught up on on y'all.
That's the great thing about our stories is have Hannah show you how to download Stitcher, and you can listen to our podcast. Yeah. And we share a lot of our stories, just like we're doing tonight with you. When we don't have a guest, we're sharing our stories. Yeah. Jeff, where can they find you on Instagram?
Oh, Jeff Barron 70.
Gotcha. I got you.
I don't have a Facebook yet, I guess, so I don't have to work on that. But Jeff Barron 70. I think that's how she's got it.
If this Instagram page is all you want to stick with, trust me, brother, it's really all you need. It tells the story.
It does.
Yeah. Tells the story of Jeff very well, and it seems like you and your whole family are the outdoors runs in your blood, and we really appreciate you sharing it with us. Without
I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, without your Instagram page, we may have not been able to hear these awesome stories. So,
absolutely,
thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hey guys,
appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all, fellas.
All right, hey guys, where can they find us?
They can find us at www.rutandriverpursuits.com. Check out all of the back episodes through iTunes, Google, Stitcher, Castbox. Stevie loves him some Castbox. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, Instagram, R2 Pursuits.
Search at R2 Pursuits or Rut and River Pursuits.
And don't forget to check out the pick of the week. That thing's been fired up.
Pick of the week is about to change, so if you want to see Will here with his massive lake trout from Sodas Point, it's about ready to change. We're going to get a new 2D taxidermy winner up here shortly. So,
all right,
guys. Thank you very much.
Guys. Yep.
Later.
Thank you. Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Rut and River Pursuits podcast. Follow the R2 Pro staff by searching Rut and River Pursuits on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until the next episode, we need to see you in the outdoors.